morning, guys. John Boy's Pro Wash. Guess this is on my way to get some breakfast for the family talk. I have these weird things pop up in my mind when I'm driving, especially by myself. But as I was leaving my house, I passed by a yard that we used to mow, and the lady was always having an issue. She's actually my neighbor, and she would always have an issue with the yard being too long. So we started what I considered kind of scalping it. And you know, in the middle of summer, when you scalp it, 2-3 days later, then weeds pop right back up. And she would say, you know, my yard looks good for 2 or 3 days, and then the weeds, you know, it starts growing again. It looks horrible. And I think to myself, what am I paying him for? And I would say, well, do you want us to spray the yard? Because that's the only way you're going to keep from doing it. But I think more than anything for her, it was the fact that I could come in with my mower myself and get her yard taken care of in 30 minutes. And her yard looked great. I didn't like cutting it that short. I don't like cutting short grass, but I could come in and cut it. And in 30 minutes, I could have everything looking just like it should. Hang on a minute. So anyway, I told her, you know, I said, look, hey, we're neighbors. If you want to find somebody else to mow your yard, because I just don't like having unhappy customers. And I said, if we can fix your yard by spraying it. She didn't want that. And, you know, she made it seem like it was something that I was doing. And so I said, look, I said, if you want to have somebody else mow your yard, you're not going to hurt my feelings none. We'll still be neighbors. No big deal. So some time goes by. It comes up, you know, after that, 2 weeks later to cut her grass. And that's exactly what happened. She ended up finding somebody to cut her grass. And, you know, she's like, oh, hey, John Boy, yada, yada, yada. I forgot to call you, but I found some guys that's going to cut this out for me that you was going to do, and they're going to do it a lot cheaper, and then they're going to cut my grass for this. So she hires these guys. They come in every 2 weeks to mow her yard, and they charge her half of what I was charging every 2 weeks. It was $50. They're charging her $25. Okay, well then she realizes the same thing is happening from them, so she tells them she'll pay them $25 every time they come back, if they'll come back every week. So then their price goes to the same amount of money that I was charging per month, but she's only getting cut, you know, she's getting cut 4 times instead of twice, which is, you know, a good deal for her if they do a good job, which they really don't. There's 2 guys.
Would you like any ketchup or jelly or anything?
No, thank you.
Here you go. You have a great day.
Thank you. There's 2 guys that show up in a pickup truck with push mowers. One guy, you know, and I'm not trying to knock anybody, but one guy, looks like he's in his 60s, and when he's out there in the summer, it's everything he can do to push mow. And she has a, you know, pretty small yard, and he'll push mow a little bit and he'll stop and smoke a cigarette. He'll push mow a little bit and he'll stop and smoke a cigarette. And what these 2 guys come in and do, it takes them probably an hour and a half now, and then by by summertime, it's taking them 2.5, 3 hours to come make $25. And, you know, between the 2 of them, I really don't know how they can do it, but she loves that, because instead of paying one person for 30 minutes of work in the yard looking good a price, she can pay 2 guys with push mowers that are out there just slaving away to get her yard cut the same price. And she loves that. She feels like she's getting a better deal because she has 2 guys working, and they're out there for a long time, and like it makes her feel like she is really getting her money's worth. And you'll run into that with customers. They feel like, you know, just the same as this. If I have a customer and I go wash their house in an hour and it looks great, what does it matter if I was there for an hour or if it took me 4 hours, as long as you're happy with the results? Some customers, they want to make you feel like they're getting their money's worth. And I find that funny back in 99, 2000, whatever year it was, this was when LASIK was first came out. And I had LASIK done. It cost me $5,000. And there's only 4 people in the United States that was certified by the government to do that. And one of them was in Atlanta, Georgia, which is where I went. It was called Emory Vision Correction Center, which I went and had it done when I was either 19 or 20. And then a few months later, my eyes started blurring up, and I actually had to have it done again, which was not cool because it wasn't that it hurt, it was just the thought of it. But you know, I was in there probably 10 minutes. I was probably in there 10 minutes altogether from the time I went in, sat down or laid down, and they rubbed the stuff on my eyes and pried them open, maybe 10 minutes altogether. And I didn't know how long it was going to take. I didn't know anything. And I remember, you know, asking the nurse, I said, dang, I said, how long do you have to go to school to make $5,000 in 5 minutes? And they kind of laughed, and she said, well, and I think it was a doctor I asked that, and he said, well, I'm not really making $5,000 in 5 minutes. But the point of it is, it was life-changing for me. So it didn't matter to me if it took him 5 minutes or 5 hours. As long as my end result was the same, what did it matter how long it took him? Luckily, it was just 5 minutes, because I don't know if I could have stayed there for 5 hours, because if you've not had that done, you're awake when it's happening, and you know, it's just it's different. You can smell your eyeball burning. But you know, that was what I ran into. And so like I said, some customers, if you say, well, it's going to take me an hour, you know, that might turn them off, because it used to take them 3 days. And I did a house like that this year, which the lady, her husband had passed, and she didn't mind. You know, she said he used to do one side a day for the whole week, and then it'd take him all week. Well, I was there for an hour and a half. But she didn't care, because the end result was the same. You'll find some customers, they really want you to work or make you feel like you're working hard, because you really earned that money. And so don't let them fool you. If you can get in and get it done, you have to do a good job, but you don't have to take forever either. And if you have a customer pressing you on time, just say, hey, it doesn't matter how long it takes me, as long as the end result's the same. And so that's my time today. Just don't buy into that, because customers will try to do you that way sometimes. You know, they'll say, well, how long do you think it'll take you? And you'll say, well, you know, probably an hour. And they'll be like, what? Are you going to get it all clean? And it's like, yeah, I'm going to get it all clean. I'm not just going to clean half of it. So just be wary of customers sometimes. And, you know, like I said, sometimes they'll want you to spend a long time cleaning or washing something, but just let it take the time that it takes you, and don't worry about their perspective. So that's my time for today. We'll see you.